I got healed and moved through that, like I cannot not share this with other women. So it's being generous with what you've walked through, zoning in on that.
It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent. But that's why visuals matter in cohesiveness.
100%. And to that point, a brand reinforces the identity, the feeling that you want to have. But so often people are afraid. What will people actually think? And for that, I say get over yourself.
Emily, if you stripped away the logos, colors, and websites and social media, what's left that truly defines someone's brand?
Hey, it's Emily here, and I am joined today by my husband, Jake.
And I'm here by your side, and we wanted to talk a lot about personal branding. I don't know if you know this about Emily, but she loves personal branding. She helps people with personal branding. She talks about it. She sleeps about it. She sometimes even sleep talks about personal branding. She talks about
How can I do that? I tape my mouth shut when I sleep.
I don't know. So there's that little hole in the tape. You're just speaking it out. I don't know how it's happening, but this woman lives personal branding. But the thing that we've seen and why we're making this episode is people have questions.
You have questions, and we have received a lot of questions. If you don't follow our account, For Divine House, yet on IG, you must. But we have received some questions. I've received questions on my personal account, and we are going to answer your questions.
Yes, we put that Q&A box in, and we said, you know what? For this conversation, if you could walk away with masterclass in a way of personal branding, then this is that episode for you. So without further ado, I don't know, should we dive in?
Let's go.
Okay. You guys, you're going to be having some fun with this. The biggest question that comes right away, and this is my question because I've heard this and seen this a lot with people, what they experience. Why do people feel so paralyzed about sharing their story online? And how do they break that fear?
I believe people feel paralyzed about sharing their story online is because they're afraid of what people will actually think of them if they know the real them, which is an absolute lie that the enemy places inside of our minds to make us feel shame, less than, not good enough. It's the spirit of perfection. And most people, in fact, all people, have a story worth telling. All people have a story worth telling, no matter what level of your life you're at, no matter if you're in the beginning stages, in the middle, in the messy middle, or if you've reached the mountaintop, you have a story to tell. And it does not need it should not be fabricated. We want the real story. But so often people are afraid, what will people actually think if I tell my real story? And for that, I say get over yourself and share the real story. And once you do, you will experience so much liberation, and you will actually connect to the human spirit on the other side, consuming your content, because you've now humanized yourself. There's great breakthrough in telling the truth and sharing your real story.
It's powerful. Is there an example of someone you could think of where they started to share their story and they were questioning, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so powerful by what you're questioning yourself, and then they start sharing and you could see like the fruits of that come out? Does anyone come to mind? Anyone you worked with? Anyone you've seen in your life?
Yes, I had a female client who was posting on social. She even spoke at a few events, but she was very vanilla and playing it safe, and I could almost tell like she kept stopping right before it got good. She wasn't dropping in to the truth. She was wearing a mask, and you could tell there was friction there. And so when we started working together and I started to hear her real story, I'm like, why aren't you sharing this? And it was the things I've talked about. She was afraid of what people might think of her. I'm not that woman anymore that I once was. I made bad decisions. And we really got to the root of the issue, which was her not wanting to be judged. And what we really got to after working together was her realizing I'm not fully stepping in to the capacity God has given me and the breakthroughs I've had. And I'm trying to please everyone. And through my questioning with her, I'm like, why won't you share your real story? And it was because I don't want to offend my ex-husband. I'm like, okay, is your ex-husband in the audience when you give keynotes? Is he following you on social media? Like, what is actually happening? Because she had this deep story with her ex and infidelity and just like a mountain of pain. And she's healed from that. But she was so afraid of offending him. And so we got to the root of it, which was like, it's not even what the other women think, because she really wanted to help other women. It was what one person thought. So it's like, let's not follow him. Let's, you know what I mean? Like, let's separate that so you can actually do the work the Lord has called you to do.
And she was a powerful woman. She has a voice. She had all these things, but it's crazy how what's hidden in the darkness, this lie, it's not even truth. It's just a lie. But when you push it to the side, she just didn't want to even figure out why she not wanting to show up. All you had to do is just shine some light on that and be like, no, that's a lie. And the lie gets exposed then with the light. And there's a switch that you saw within her, right? Like you saw like, oh my gosh, I'm playing such a small game because of this dumb thing. And that's the crazy thing about personal branding and having a message and a voice. And you could speak onto this, Emily, is like, yes, logos, colors, aesthetics, content pillars, all these things matter, but that doesn't do anything if you're not even willing to share this voice of who you truly are or think you have to speak like someone else. What do you have to say on that?
Your personal brand is personal. A personal brand is connected to a person. It's not a lip gloss. It's not a product. It's a person. And so we need to treat our personal brands personal. And that's why not everyone should have a personal brand publicly if they're not ready to do that. I don't think, because you're just going to exhaust yourself and it's going to be confusing and clunky. I think you need to make a decision. Okay, I'm going to expand my digital footprint, because really, I should back that up. We all have a personal brand. We are the brand, but not everybody pursues building their personal brand. And I don't think they should unless they feel called and ready to do so. And when you do so, you have to realize that you need to take it from the lens of Scripture and what God wants for us. We are called to serve and love one another, right? And so when you start to build your personal brand from this place of generosity, what have I learned? What skills do I have that I learned? What have I walked through in the past? What could I teach someone else? Even if you have the gift of inspiration, that's a huge talent that you have that you could help other people. If you start to build your personal brand from that lens of how can I serve another person, you will then become more generous and you'll get over insecurities about yourself. I'll give you an example. An insecurity that I had for so long was how I grew up. At one point, we were on food stamps. I was raised by a single mom. At one point, I thought I would never be married again. At one point, I just truly thought I have to protect myself at all cost and never open up to a man. There's so much shame. And the reality is, when I got healed and moved through that, like, I cannot not share this with other women. Like, how stingy of me if I don't share this with other people. So it's being generous with what you've walked through.
That's good.
And zoning in on that. It doesn't mean we share it all, because I don't think we're meant to.
Well, that leads into this next question, which is, if someone has 10 different passions, how do they know which one to build their brand around?
What's the thing calling you the most? I mean, that's what I would look at. And in fact, when we are with clients for For Divine, this is a real thing. I get on with them and it's like, I love this and I'm doing this. There's literally 10 and I get it because you're talking to your girl. I love a lot of different things. I love style. I love animals. I love marriage. There's so much. You have to ask yourself though, what is the overarching theme and what is the thing that's standing out above the noise? And you got to zone in on that so that way you can be remembered for something. And that's the reality of just where we're at online is, you know, you've got 7 seconds of someone. If they find you, if they find a YouTube, if they find your Instagram, it's like, what is this person about? And you can catch people's essence, their vibe, if you will. But it's like, what am I going to get from this person? And if it's really clunky and all over the place, then I'm not going to follow them because guess what? There's only so many people I can follow online. If I don't know what I'm going to get from you, I don't want to follow you. And the reality is you just got to zone in on what is my overarching theme. What's the value I'm going to bring in this season of my life? And you need to build that. Now, yes, pepper in your passions, your interests, all this stuff in your stories. You go to a game on a Sunday, you're a really big Vikings fan, you know, pepper in some of these other things. But for the most part, the content and what you provide for people on the main page, it should have a pretty dominant overarching theme. And that's how you separate yourself from the noise. Good. And that's how you eventually become a crowned authority.
Yeah. We'll talk about that crowned authority and what that really means here. But I believe this next question goes into this. What's the first signal that someone's personal brand is confusing rather than compelling? Because as the listeners listening right now, it all makes, I'm sure, sense. And oh my gosh, yeah, I got to think of these things. But what can they identify right now as a signal? They could go look at it or see what they have. Are they confusing or compelling people? What would be one of the first signals to know that that's happening for their own brand?
What I would do is I would take, you know, your phone and sit with someone who isn't just somebody who's going to coddle you and give you nice words, but somebody that's an honest person in your life. And I would ask them, hey, based on what you see here, and let them consume the content for a little bit, maybe your first 5 posts, look at your stories, look at all that stuff. What do you think of and what do you feel when you see my brand? And just get feedback. I think people are afraid of feedback sometimes. And feedback is everything. And that's how you are going to be able to identify, is my messaging really muddy or is it clear? Okay. And a little bit of that tweakage, maybe it's your bio, maybe it's some of your content. Maybe if you're someone that your ultimate goal is to speak on stages and it's like, we don't see you on any stages. We don't even see your face. We don't, you know, it's like, I can give you immediate feedback of, okay, if the end goal is this and I'm not getting it from first, you know, minute of looking at your brand, it's going to cost you years and it's going to make you frustrated. And so that's what I would say, like get feedback and not just from one person, from multiple people. And, you know, sometimes you also have to like pay to get coaching if you want to really sharpen the axe.
It's great. One of the questions that came in from on For Divine House. So if you aren't following For Divine House on Instagram, go follow it because you'll get a lot of inspo, a lot of coaching, a lot of guidance. You'll see brands and be like, whoa, if that can happen for them, maybe it can happen for me. But we do put up on the stories when we do podcasts like this, we let you ask questions. And Annie asked, I'm showing up consistently, podcast, social media, email, and I still can't get new clients to sign. Help. I know a lot of what you're sharing already, Emily, is probably the things to help her with this. But if someone like Annie is doing the do, she is showing up and has those vehicles of reaching people, why is she still not getting those clients?
I would say that your offer is not clear. Do people know specifically what they can buy from you? And if it's too muddy and it's not clear, and if they don't know that you're, open sign is on the door, they're not going to know, nor are they going to care what they could buy from you. So that's number one, is what is your offer? And I'll give a tangible example. At For Divine, we do have different services. And one of our services is working with people virtually to build their brand Bible. And it's a package we have called Diamond. And for the longest time, people didn't know, oh, you mean I could do this service and I could get my logos done, my visual identity, my brand statement. I could get it all done and I don't have to fly to Orange County. Like, you guys could do this digitally for me at a much different rate than it costs to come in person. It's like people didn't know, and they still don't know. Maybe you're listening, you're like, I didn't even know you do that. But right now, what we're doing in our marketing strategy is making it known, multiple times a week, hey, we offer this service. And so you have to pepper it in a lot more. And I think sometimes we're afraid to say, hey, by the way, if you need your brand done, comment VIP, or let's say you're selling sparkling protein. It's like, okay, if you want to order, drop sparkles below. It's available for you now. It's that repetition. And a lot of times we feel like we're being annoying, but the reality is there's only like a fraction of people we're going to see it. Now, I want to add a second point to this of why you might not be getting sales or clients. And this is huge.
Oh, do tell.
You are not positioned as a crowned authority.
I was literally about to say that too if you didn't bring that up.
You are not.
This is so potent, please.
Have you made the decision to be an authority in your space? And I will tell you, I have worked with hundreds of women on their personal brands. And their next level calling, where the Lord is calling them into, whether it's speaking on a certain subject, it's selling a certain thing, it's building a certain team, they have not consciously and subconsciously given themselves radical permission to go pro in that arena. And since your girl loves examples, I will give you one. I did not go to marketing school. I didn't go to branding school. I didn't do any of that. Okay. I've built my personal brand for the past 15 years of my life, and it's served me well as an asset for me. But my previous venture was selling supplements and building sales teams. So the minute that I started to fall in love and understand that I could help people with their personal brand was about 3 years ago. And I had to consciously give myself permission to be seen as an expert in personal branding, which for a while I was given tips, but I wasn't an authority in the space. It seems like it's just a slight difference, but it's a big difference. No one's going to pay you to come talk about a subject if you're not an authority on it, period.
And I'll add into that, because then this would lead into the question of, well, how do you become a crowned authority, right? It's like applicable tips. This is what we want you to walk away with. But it's so important for every person to understand, especially you listening right now, that we're in a day and age where everyone's selling something. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a podcast. Sometimes we have to increase tariffs on podcast equipment. It's like, why are they speaking on those things? And I hope even when you listen to us, like, you should understand that we speak from facts, and we speak from past experiences, and we speak from things that are working. And it's not just we're becoming podcast experts or personal brand experts. Emily has been doing this for 10 plus years, but everyone has something to sell and provide. And so with you and Annie, what you're sharing here, and Emily's going to add in on this, you're probably struggling getting clients because you're not being seen as a crown authority. Like, I don't know what you're selling. There's not enough context in here, but let's just say you're a coach or mentor, you have programs. Why should they trust you? Why should they transact with you when there's 20 other people to do that? Or maybe there's someone that was similar to you that they did do it and they didn't work out well. So now they see your thing and they like you, but they don't know if they could trust you enough. So this idea of being a crown authority is so important, because that is how you get above the noise. And so, Emily, what do you have to say for someone right now when they finish this podcast? What can they start to do, or what can they start to say or create or become to be more of a crowned authority, as you call it?
First of all, you have to ask yourself, do you want to go pro? Do you want to get paid like a pro? Okay. In my first business as a network marketer, I literally was like, why does the majority of the people not crush it at this? And it was just blatantly obvious to me is that 95% of the people treated it like a random side hustle hobby situation. Hobbies cost you money. But I'm like, how is this person making over $1 million a year? They're a pro and they have decided that they're going to be a pro. Okay. And so that's the first thing, is asking yourself, hey, this arena I want to go down, do I want to go pro in it? And I really do believe God will meet you in that. And if you pray about it, which you should, pray about what's the next venture. And if you've heard any of my episodes on the messy middle, I was in a season of praying about, what do you want me to do, God? What do you want me to do with my time and talent, right? And it was a discovery process. And the more I leaned into the personal branding stuff, I was just like, it gives me energy. And I actually know what I'm talking about because I've done it before. And you can tell a big difference between someone on stage when they've actually been a practitioner of their craft versus it's all book knowledge. So it's examining your life and going, do I want to commit to this? And this is what a lot of people don't talk about. They don't talk about the reality of really slowing down to speed up, looking at, if I want to be an expert in this arena, I need to know that I got to go all in on it. I need to go read books on it. I need to listen to the other experts. It needs to be the music in the background of my life if I want to go pro in it, which takes a level of discipline. So number one, ask yourself, do I actually want to go pro in this subject? Number two, then committing to it, making it the background noise of your life, and actually starting to talk about it. And the more you start to talk about it, you are going to find your own beliefs with it, your own dance with it.
That's good.
And suddenly you become a crowned authority in that space over time.
Doesn't just happen overnight.
It does not happen overnight.
Not even over weeks and months. Emily, it's been over 3 years of you talking about personal branding. You've had your own journey on that. And you're still establishing that crown authority of who you are. And people are like, well, I see that as Emily. And it's like, yes, but to the bigger world, she's constantly showing up in new ways to be seen. That it takes time, but you could start now. And
we are living in an era right now where it's, how fast can I go? In-N-Out Burger, microwave society. And the reality is, there's a lot of talented people that are getting lost in the shuffle because they're not zoning in on their craft. And they're so distracted. And it's like the next thing and the next thing. And it's wild. I will start a business or a venture and I'll meet a certain person or groups of people and I will watch them bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, ruin their brand reputation. They're asking for sales in this arena. They're now making this big life announcement. This week they're doing this, and then the next 3 months they're doing that. It's like, what happens is, to people that follow you, you break trust because you're so inconsistent. And I get it. Sometimes we make mistakes. We join a business. We're like, oh, that is not what I thought it was. Never mind. Next. We're in a different assignment in a different season. But the reality is, when you're bouncing all around, it is literally telling me, I can't trust you. Like, there's no way I'm going to give you money for a service or a product or whatever you're selling if I don't think you're going to be here in 6 months to a year. And so that's a really big thing when it comes to personal branding that people, I feel like, don't talk about a lot.
It's great. It's time to step in as a crown authority. That's powerful. It leads into this. We have a couple more questions here. And if you are enjoying this, by the way, please, if you're listening to us on a podcast app, go leave a review. Go leave a five. We only want 5-star reviews.
Give us that 5-star.
We want the positive, but we want to also hear, like, what is what is speaking to you here? And if it's on YouTube, then leave a comment. And if you're on social and this is like, you want more questions, engage with us, screenshot this, send us a message. Like, this is so important. We're not just here to speak at mics. We're here to speak at you. So that would mean so much to hear that. But let's get into these next questions, which banks into what you're talking about with the Crown Authority. And I think a lot of women could relate with this because we've seen this many, many times, which is, what's the cost of clinging to an outdated brand identity? And how do you know it's time to rebrand?
A brand that stays the same becomes irrelevant. If you haven't showed me you've evolved and you stay the same from a digital perspective, from a visual perspective, from a content perspective, like you're literally the same. And the cool part about a personal brand is we should all be evolving and changing and growing. And one of my biggest tips for building a personal brand is taking people on the journey with you of life and of building something from nothing, not having kids to birthing your first kid. And what does that life look like, to not being married to getting married? And what does it look like now that you're a wife? And, from starting For Divine from nothing when we had ugly carpet in this room to, now having incredible household names wanting to come in to do their brand or even to be on the show, right? It's like you've been on the journey with me, and I'm so grateful for that. But you've seen me evolve and change, and you've evolved and changed. And that's the thing for you listening right now is you should be so proud of yourself. You've healed from that thing. You've evolved. You've learned a lesson. But have you shown that? Have you shared that online? And when it comes to somebody listening that is very adamant and very consistent about going online and building a brand, I want you to look at your current brand and say, does this reflect who I am today? Yes or no? And the answer is no. It's like, what needs to change and evolve? And when it comes to visual identity, it does matter for a couple of reasons. Number one, for becoming memorable. When you have a consistent visual identity, people are like, oh, that blonde girl, called, crowned, something. She's got that long couch. Like, that's what people do. She's got the, it's kind of like Vogue, but she motivational speaks, and she's a fashion girl. Like, they use describing words. But if you don't give consistent visuals of your actual essence, they don't know what to describe. Yeah. It's like a garage sale.
Can I share a real example of
yes.
this? This was actually with one of the women that we worked with over a year ago. I caught myself doing this because of what you're sharing, and I had to tell her this because this is the power of building Crown Authority and brand identity. Her name's Beth. She is now building. She's an author. She's a consultant. She was working corporate, and she wanted to build a brand so she could take the next step. Her husband's crushing in an entrepreneur space. They wanted to be able to do things on their own side. And so we did the whole rebrand and helped establish everything about her, which you could go learn more on fordivine.com. She's one of our Crown stories. But what was so cool about what you're sharing about visual trust and brand recognition. So we created templates. The team created, not me. I will say we because this is a company. But we created templates of different quote badges for her to post because she's a thought leader. She has things that shares, and it has the same color and logo and style, right? So there's recognition. You've probably seen some of Emily's quote badges. There's a style to that. So when she starts doing that first, it's maybe not as much engagement, but some people are like, wow, this is inspirational and entertaining. And some people are sharing it, and I'm, showing love. She keeps being consistent with it, posting other things of her family, but the quote badges go up. And it was one day I opened Instagram up before I was about to get behind my computer, and I was scrolling through and I didn't even see who posted it, but I saw it and I was like, oh, that's really nice. Without any recognition, I liked it. And then I was like, wait, oh my gosh, that was Beth's quote. And I went back and I was thinking through what happened. And it clicked. I was like, that was brand recognition. Mm-hmm. I didn't get to fully read it, but because I knew that this was her brand and I've liked stuff in the past, I automatically had a positive connotation to it. And I couldn't even recognize, or I didn't see her name, but I recognized there was something that I had an attachment to of like, this must be good content. So then I actually read it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. How much more different is when people see something that Emily posts or people post, like why do people post Alex Hormozy or Layla Hormozy's content? There's brand identity recognition. They want to be affiliated with it, but it also right away they can see who this person is. They want to be affiliated. They want to trust. Every time something gets posted by them, they have a positive reinforcement to it. And it's you don't have to have a giant following. You don't have to be a massive person. You probably will get there if you keep doing it. But for someone like Beth who had no brand before, she was just posting family stuff, to then having a brand identity, and for me to subconsciously already like something without even fully reading the context. I don't do that. I don't like stuff just for liking. I liked it because that spoke to the brand recognition of her brand. I shared it to her with her after, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to hear, and it matters. That's compounding of your brand. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent. But that's why visuals matter in cohesiveness. So
100%. And to that point, it's a brand reinforces the identity, the feeling that you want to have. And if you think of, you know, anybody that loves to shop, if there is a product you buy, let's just say it's in the cosmetic world and it's in a beautiful bottle and like it's cute and chic and you love it, it reinforces luxury, maybe, if that's what the brand is, right? And then you would take the same product, but it's in a much cheaper, maybe poorly packaged, display. Maybe it's different colors that are not chic. It's more bright, something like that. The avatar that wants luxury and it reinforces how she wants to feel, they're going to go for the chic, cute one versus the one that maybe is the exact same formula of lip gloss.
Yes.
Okay. And this is what also happens and can happen in personal branding. And that's what I discovered many years ago is I treated my personal brand like a real brand in terms of visuals, logos, all that stuff, because I understand brand. And what's amazing about it is when you match a personal brand's visual identity with your actual personality, like this is the actual way I would, and we do, our home is like this. These are the clothes that I would normally wear. And that's what we do with our clients.
Yeah.
And
you don't always have to be, not to cut you off on that, but I could already hear some of the women saying, well, what if I'm not luxury? What if I'm more casual? No, that's who you are. So the brand matches who you are. Maybe you're more homey. It's a feeling that comes with it. So there's a feeling of prestige or luxe, or when they know it's something Fortivine, it's top standard. That's what we wanted. But you could have a feeling for your brand to be, wow, I feel so much more comfortable every time I see a post from her. I feel more comfortable in my skin. I love who I am. I feel like I want to go and clean my house when I see her content.
And it's a good example of that is Lydia's brand we did. She lives on a farm in Canada, and it's very farm feeling, holistic, but she can maintain it because of we match the visual identity with who she is.
And that's the problem for a lot of people, not just Lydia, is they see these other people that are high performers, luxe, prestige, and they're like, well, I'm not that, so I guess I can't have a brand. And it's like, no, your brand is an extension of who you are on the digital footprint.
Or what happens, babe, is they copy what someone else is doing. Like they try to do it all, but it's not really their vibe. It's not really who they are. And then it becomes fake and it becomes forced, and then they can't maintain it, and then it's exhausting, and then they just quit. That's what happens most of the time.
It's good. So I got one more question. We'll be wrapping it up. And if you've been enjoying this, we could do more of these. We're thinking of questions and things you might be having. We're obviously asking people. And if you want to ask questions, this is your direct hotline here. So I got one more question. But before we do that, there's going to be a fun little activity. And I need one answer and one explanation for it. It's going to be this thing called green, red, or yellow flag.
Okay.
And so green means the brand is healthy. Yellow means it's like, hey, it's not bad, but there's probably improvements. And red is like, ooh, it's hurting. So I'm going to give just examples. Okay. And if you guys enjoy this part, then maybe we can make more of this. Maybe not. We'll never hear this again. I just need simple answers, okay? So this brand, posting daily content, but it's all motivational quotes with no personal story. Green, yellow, or red? and why?
I would say if it's supposed to be about personal branding, it's red, because we don't know who the person is behind it. I don't know your face. It's basically like a meme account, or not even, it's a quote account. It's not a personal brand.
Got it. Your Instagram bio lists 5 different roles: coach, speaker, author, podcaster, consultant.
Yellow, I get it. You're trying to put out there what you do, but instead, what's your motto? What are you about? What's your, what am I going to get from this page? And if I see that you're an authority and crushing it, I can pretty much tell you've got a podcast, you could speak on it type thing. You don't need to like lead with that. I don't think anyone's going to fall on someone's page and be like, it says speaker in the bio, so let me hire them. No, instead they first want to eat up your content and know you're too legit to quit. Then it's like, how can I get her on my podcast? How can I get her on my stage? That's how it works.
Okay. Every piece of your content points back to a clear signature offer.
Red.
Red?
Stop selling to me. Listen, I'm going to go Gary Vee on y'all right now. Okay. Jab, 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 hook, right? Jab, 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 jab. Don't just sell. In fact, there is a lot of cool people, but all their stuff is promotional, and I do not even see them in my feed anymore because it's all about their book and their courses, and I don't care, and nobody else does.
It's good. That actually caught me off guard, because, and that's why I'm asking you this, because you interpreted it rightfully so as every time they post, it leads to an offer. I was thinking of like, oh, but it's a clear signature offer, so that's a green. But you're right. That's a powerful thing you brought up, is you don't want to just lead to an offer every single time. Have a call to action, have engagement, but don't try to sell every time. So that's why we ask these questions.
No,
Next
stop
one.
selling.
You invest in professional photos, but your captions sound like a resume.
Red all day long. I can tell when chat writes your captions. In fact, what is happening when I see a piece of content that chat has done, I just scroll past it. You got to have a thought-provoking caption or an honest caption with the hook. Especially if you're going to match it with a beautiful photo of yourself. And so when it comes to beautiful photography, just mix and match that in, but you don't need to have a ton of it. Mm-hmm. You just pull it out every now and again and use it for assets that are essential.
2 more. You've built your entire personal brand around copying another leader's style.
I'm going to give this a yellow because I'm going to give grace. Because if we don't know who we are and whose we are, we will copy other people. And I get it. You're just trying to make it work and put food on the table and build something. But I would beg of you to find your own message, your own way of doing things, because you are going to have so much greater success. And you are going to have a lot more fulfillment if you actually build a personal brand that is true to who you are. Because one of the greatest failures is when you meet someone who's a digital person that has a digital presence, and you meet them in the flesh and they don't look like what they post, meaning it's a completely different face because of Facetune, and they actually don't sound like what they post at all. And it's very fake. That is so disheartening. And that's something that I think is an insult to God, because he has made you so unique, all your quirks, your creativity, your expressions. And I want to see that and feel that online and offline.
That's powerful. Someone needed to hear that today. Last one, green, yellow, or red. Your audience knows your story so well, they could repeat it back to you.
That's a green.
It's a green.
Because they know what you're about, where you came from. Yeah, that's powerful. That really is so powerful, especially when it comes to personal branding.
Yeah, this was kind of fun.
This was really
Yeah,
fun.
maybe we should do the green, yellow, red. We'll think of more specifics. But I got that one final question. We'll wrap up here. But yeah, that was kind of fun to hear that. I was actually really surprised on the one I thought would be a green, which was it always led to a clear signature offer. And you're like, no, it shouldn't always lead to an offer every time. And I'm like, oh, wow. That's why we ask these questions. You don't
Here's
know.
the thing. If I post a piece of content that is simply value add about my communication with you and letting you love me, or learning how to be more soft and how I've struggled with it, I'm not selling that. There's nothing to sell.
Yeah.
It's just what I've walked through and continue to walk through. And it allows the person on the other side to hopefully get value from that, but also know me more. And at the end of the day, we're going to come and go in this life. And I want people to know me with the flaws, with the stuff I'm good at, of course. But it's like, I just want them to know that I've gone through stuff too. And I just believe it connects people because, again, like what you've been through and what you're going through and what you're learning, it connects you to other people.
Did I just hear that Midwestern accent come out?
No, stop.
She's like, I just want them to know.
I don't.
All right. I love it, though.
Wow, you are so in trouble.
Oh, I'm in trouble after this, guys. All right. Last question. We'll wrap up here. This is powerful, though. Do not miss this question or the answer Emily's going to share. The question is, as I'm pulling it up here it is. Emily, if you stripped away the logos, colors, and websites and social media, what's left that truly defines someone's brand?
What truly defines someone's personal brand is their soul's essence and what they truly believe and where their heart is at. And I don't even need to know what you're selling me. I can just tell where you get your information from and where you get where's your source coming from. I can tell immediately. And so I think it's about the soul, it's about your heart, and what is motivating you to do what you're doing. And if I can see and feel what's motivating you to do what you're doing, then I know as a consumer if I want to follow you or not.
It's a beautiful last answer for this value-packed podcast. Thank you for sharing that, Emily. Thank you for pouring out all this. This was fun. If you are listening to this right now and you enjoyed this, the best thing to do is, one, take action. Take one of these tips and go apply that today. Go and do that. And the second thing is that we are making these things because we think, what do you need? What do you need help with? And so that's why we have this. So if this actually helped you, then please, as I shared, like leave a comment or leave a review, whatever platform you're on. But then also send us a message on Instagram. You know, we're active on our social media. Send a message to Emily, tag her on this and say, Emily, I started doing XYZ and oh my gosh, it changed that. Or I broke that limiting belief around what thought I needed to be in the personal brand. That means so much because we are going to continually provide this. And next time you're on the For Divine House and you see that Q&A, put in a question because we want to answer more of your questions. So Emily, the brand expert over here, Crown Authority, my beautiful wife, can just bring that wisdom. And as you could tell, it's more than logos. It's more than a website. It's more than just making those posts. It's about who you are to your deepest soul. That is what a personal brand is because it's you to the core. So we thank you and honor. Is there anything final you
I
want
would
to
just
say?
say it's who you're becoming. Give yourself grace. It's so beautiful watching you grow and change and deepen your faith. It's the most beautiful thing on the planet. It's not about the accolades or what you have. It's, gosh, watching a woman grow is the most beautiful thing on the planet. So never forget that. As long as you pursue God and you continue to grow, you're going to have a great personal brand if you dare to show us that.
And that's what I get to see with my own wife. I get to see her, as I would say, evolve. She's been evolving, and I see it in real time. So we thank you. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, and be ready because we're bringing more powerful conversations, master classes, all the things here on the Called and Crown Show. And maybe I'll be back for another time.
Maybe we'll let you back with your cute.
She has some words that she has to tell to me after. I said something about that Midwestern accent.
Hey, you got your clavicle showing.
Okay.
I like
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Then this is where we wrap up. Till next time, see you on the Called and Crown Show. God bless.